Before we start working through the decimal skills, I thought we'd take a break for a moment and go over one of the most confusing aspects of decimals, place value. By now, you should be pretty familiar with how place value works for whole numbers, but did you know it's really not all that different for decimals? Don't believe me? Come on, I'll show you. When you identify decimals correctly, rather than saying point and the digits that follow, it gives you a better understanding of the number you're working with, which leads to better computations. You may have noticed this, but place value names follow a pattern, 1, 10, or 100 based on where that number falls between the commas, and then another word. That second word denotes the period that 1, 10, or 100 falls in. The first period is the ones period, although we never say it. The next is the thousands period. After that come the millions period and the billions period, and the list goes on. When we identify a whole number, we say number, location, until we reach the comma where we add the period. Decimals also have place values, but they don't have periods. When we identify a decimal, we say number, place value of the last digit. But unlike in whole numbers where we identify the place value of the largest number, we identify decimals by their smallest place value, or where the number stops. You'll see why in just a moment. Have you ever noticed there aren't any oneths? This is because the ones place is very special. It's one of a kind, so to speak. It can get kind of lost in numbers involving decimals, so to help us find it, we place a decimal point to its right. Then the place values hang about the ones in kind of a mirror image. Tens are opposite tenths, hundreds are opposite hundredths. This is a handy way to remember that naming conventions for whole numbers and decimals are the same. So now you hopefully have a better understanding of place value and why it works. Now I'm going to challenge you. Throughout the decimal videos, and anywhere else I might talk about decimals, I'm usually going to call them by their rightful names. I challenge you to do the same in your own work with decimals. It will help you remember the place value, and will make some of your work easier.